I'm at 37. So, okay, 6:31, roll call. Chris Werland, present.
Chris Williams.
Christine Erb.
Hey, Denny. Hey, baby.
You know your name.
Okay. Minutes from last meeting. Everybody get a chance to look at them?
Yes.
Any adjustments?
Just real quick, Chris, in
Yeah.
an attempt to have Jill have less office stuff to be doing, this meeting is recorded, so we are going to hope that we could review the video.
Okay. Okay, do I have a motion to accept the minutes from last meeting?
I move that we approve the minutes from the February meet or March meeting, excuse me.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Christine, seconded by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. And agenda.
I know in the March meeting, we talked about Chris wanting to table collections, medical records collections.
Right.
Do we need it on this month's or?
It's a good question. Do we have any? Let's put it on there.
You know, the guy that does them was supposed to email me
I was wondering
every
about
month,
that.
and I did not get one this month. So,
I guess technically we need to put it on the agenda to discuss that.
okay. So, old business
Mm-hmm.
collections.
And then the other thing that I just asked Jill, we don't need it added to this agenda, but adding it to the agenda is the calls per month. And then we used to get the year to date.
Yes.
And so I just asked for the May meeting, if we could have that transportation and then current.
Is that something you'd like to see in the health administrator's report, or?
I like it on here. I mean, if this is.
You like it on the agenda?
If they're gonna put it
Okay.
on here, then just adding the year to date.
Okay.
Kind of what we're doing up here.
We have the calls per month and then year to date on this.
Okay.
So which would you like them on? I'm sorry. Do you want it on the
This one.
agenda, or do you want it on?
Be on the agenda.
On the agenda, please.
Okay. Any other corrections to the agenda? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the agenda with those amendments?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Been moved by Chris and seconded by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4-0. Treasurer's report.
I saw nothing that I had questions about.
Okay, treasurer's report. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I move we approve the treasurer's report.
Second,
I second it.
it's been moved by Chris Williams, seconded by Christine, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0.
Okay, and just a little clarification and
Yes, ma'am.
maybe a little bit of the heart failure that I had from the email that Joanne would no longer be with us. So I think it warrants clarification of
Okay.
that.
I didn't get that.
Yes, we would like clarification of that.
Joanne, are you leaving us?
You had put a
Eventually. Yeah. Well, I do. Yes. Are you leaving us right away?
text message,
No, I didn't think so.
was that meant for our board or was that
No,
city
I
board?
was told that her contract would be up and she would be leaving in 2 months. That was last month. And so I questioned it and I didn't get an answer, so I brought it to the surface.
Okay,
I think that that's gonna be required, but I think it's premature to do it now.
okay.
That's all it was for.
Can I clarify?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Originally, we agreed, Dave and I agreed, for 3 months, I would come in for 3 months. July, February, March. January.
We're tracking.
No, we'll keep you through July, no problem.
2027?
Yeah.
For the 5-year plan, but I got the look.
This is April. I'm willing to stay, or I would like to stay. Yeah, this is obviously up to everybody here. To get through year end and into the first month of the new year.
Fiscal year
I would
or,
like to commit to that.
Yeah.
If that's agreeable to everybody, if it's not, I understand that because I understand budget policy.
That's not my 5-year plan. That math doesn't commute.
Yeah.
So I'm willing, I want to stay as long as I need it.
Have you been
Oh,
working with
see?
Jill on the accounts payable and great, great,
So we are working on that as we speak.
fantastic.
But
I think we can say safely that you are needed and 5 years we'll rediscuss it.
you're not, I know. you're-
Yes, Joanne, you are needed.
Yeah,
If that's what our next step would be is July, August,
Well, we'll look at.
we'll look at it again.
The way things are in July, the end of July.
Okay,
I think it was to try to right the ship from where we were. Get the payroll carved off onto
Mhm,
the accountant. Get Jill up to speed, get our books back in order,
mhm,
and it would make sense to kind of close out this fiscal year
mhm.
and set us a good path into the next fiscal year. So that would, I think that jives with all of our intent.
Yeah,
It
get
might
the
have taken a little longer.
new
but-
budget set up in the books for the new fiscal.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good.
thank you, Joanne.
And we get to revisit that though?
You got to talk to her and the chief.
We can't hold her against her will.
we will revisit it in June.
I offer to buy her coffees every day, Ray. I'll do whatever she wants.
I just wanted to.
Wash her feet,
Yes,
I'll
you're in
wash the driveway, her car. I don't care what she does.
Gotcha.
Joanne, you are loved abundantly. We need you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you for sure. Okay, so, payment of bills. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
I move we pay the bills.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, 4-0. Okay, public comment? Glad to be here. Okay. Did you have anything? Okay. No? Okay. Job hiring. We had our first interview with a couple candidates and we are moving on to second interviews. You want to say anything else? It was very good. It was enlightening.
It was that.
Don't use up all your words in one place, Dave.
That's not my thing, that's for show, so whatever's whatever. I'll do it.
We had four panel members. Chris was farming and Ray decided he got stuck on the backside of a accident and didn't quite make it, so we are moving into a second interview and hopefully these guys can be a bigger part. So, we have that scheduled for next Thursday at 6 o'clock. We'll meet here at 5:30 and hopefully move forward. So, collections. What would you like to say?
Well, I just wanted on the official thing to say that we would still like to understand what our past due accounts are and what our policy is for handling those.
Right.
So,
Last month I had talked to Tactical, is that their technical name, Tactical? And he said he would send out the list that he sends you and HR, but I did not get one this year or this month.
I haven't either. I do know that they close out the month, the previous month in the middle of the month-ish,
Yeah,
so that might be the reason why.
there's some timing issue,
Okay.
yeah. I think it'd just be good to understand how much is, 90 days, 60 to 90, and how much is over 90, and then what's our policy for and who, collections and, how we handle all that stuff.
So I can tell you how the fire bills and the fire,
Well, we need
Policy
to
is,
know
but I
what
don't know
we have
exactly
on the
what-
book. So if we could do some research by next month and
And I would like that report every month. I mean, even if it's
even if we're a month
February that we're
behind, yeah,
getting,
in April.
in April,
Yeah.
I mean,
okay. If you get it in the next week or so, will you email it out? If I get it, I'll do the same. I know that he had asked who our collection agency was. And remember
Blake asked them?
yes. Remember there was discussion on who did he turn it over to? And we had that name.
Well,
I almost want to say Art, but that's not right.
it's on here, I think, Armada, that's the one that we were using.
Armana, yeah,
That's the one that we were using.
okay,
But we need to make sure that that's in our,
policies.
the ambulance district billing policy matches what we're actually doing.
Right.
Otherwise, we just need to update our policy. If we have this outfit we're using, then
So Blake needs to have that information if we can find that and pass it along.
So probably between Ian and I, we'll make some kind of a policy suggestion, and then you guys, you bosses can either stamp it or edit it or whatever, and then after that, we'll wait 14 days, and then it will become policy, and that's what we'll give I'm sure Blake has the contact information for Armada, but we'll make sure he's got both those items.
Okay.
yeah, but there
Even
was
so, we
something
need to
on there
update it.
that didn't jive or something. There was some email,
something was.
on our end that he was looking for.
I remember he said that Tiffany was supposed to get him something. I'll have to go back and look at my emails. But it was basically who did he turn it over to collections and how far did he need to? If he got it January 1st and had no contact with them because he couldn't find them or whatever, when could he turn it over after? 90 days or 6 months? How long did he have to focus on trying to get paid before he could turn it over to collection? That was a date time.
That we may not have a policy for that.
Yeah,
Right.
so if we don't, we
Okay.
need,
Yeah.
I don't think there is. We can certainly talk to Scotty over at UCFD1, and we can ask them for their sample.
That'd be great.
And then we can use for what Angie is doing and whatnot, we can base whatever you guys want to decide.
Yeah, I don't think it has, other than we assign these to the collection. collection.
pay in the first 30 days, catch a 10% discount, or pay in the next 30 days and pay the full amount, or else, yeah, something along those lines. So that it's not getting rinse and repeat again and again and again.
Right.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay. Any other comments?
So is there is there two companies?
So Tactical does our billing.
Okay,
And what they wanted to know is, once we're not getting reimbursed or paid, then it gets transferred over to a collection agency, and the collection agency is,
For Medic, it's Armada, and for fire, MV billing, we've used.
Oh, okay,
We
that's,
have a contract with them.
that was my question. Thank you. Well, the company's been around.
Oh, has it?
Oh, look, new business collections.
Just because we called, I got a hold of them, we were contracted. Earlier.
Okay,
You have collections under new business?
I don't see
Yeah.
that.
all right, here.
And if you put it
Oh,
on
that
that
must be-
before, we
don't
have the
This one?
the only thing I
Okay.
changed on the.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I just can't wait. Gotta push for it.
Gotta make sure it's on there. Okay, budget. Do you have an update on the budget?
Remember the Medic process is different than the fire process. The email budget that I sent out on the 9th. Basically, you are the budget committee and you are of course, the governing body, so. You can make the changes that you want to make or make the edits that you want to make, and that process will just continue on. So at this point, it's more like an information share, and then we have 2 ads being ran to explain the budget hearing, the budget meeting and the budget hearing, which will take place in May and June, and we'll build the process at that point.
Okay.
So how confident are you in these labor numbers, Dave?
It kind of depends on what is chosen for staffing, and if it kind of depends on that. So I'm kind of waiting to see what, for me, I'm sort of waiting to see what is chosen for the staffing.
So you said this budget was prepared with the health administrator working a shift, not based on the response shift, so to speak.
Correct.
But okay. Okay. So then that's health administrator and then 6 other individuals. Am I correct?
The health administrator would be one of the 6.
That's not what your budget message says here. It says that the health administrator would work an 8 to 5 shift, not assigned to one of the 3 48-hour
At one
shifts.
time that may have been discussed, but it's been also discussed that the health administrators for budgeting purposes should have, was assigned to a shift. So it can
What
be
I'm
however-
saying is this email where you sent this,
Agreed,
that's what you said.
agreed.
So is that how these numbers were prepared?
No. These numbers were prepared with the health administrator working a shift, being on a shift, being in an office for however many hours a day, and then staying overnight and responding off of the ambulance. So it can literally go however you bosses want to go, but if the health administrator is also working a shift, it's gonna be less expensive.
Okay. So we just need to cross out this part of your email then.
And there's been some changes, there's been some discussion since that initial email has gone out, and again, it was a little bit of a moving target, but in the end, it's gonna be how you guys want to make it.
And does this accurately reflect the medic district share of administration and station expenses?
Yes. Yes. Because that number was. Yes. In the IGA for. I've got the IGA number, but it's administration, it's billing, it's. All the costs for running the.
Can,
District itself.
can you show me where that chart is? No, I know, I understand this, but where is it in the budget?
Where's the IGA check in the budget?
No, where is that cost to the district?
It's in the IGA check itself. It's in the IGA amount.
But that's going to be an expense to the district, so it's got to be a line item in there.
Then I can add. a line
And so that's gonna,
for
that's gonna
and-
basically, then we're gonna eat into our contingency to pay operating expenses for next year under that model.
If it's done that way, yes.
And this was prepared having the health administrator work on one of the 48-hour shifts.
Yes.
That doesn't work. That, we got some budget issues to do. I think we're gonna need a work session for the budget.
I think so too.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
What day would you like that on? Not for a week or two, or do you want it sooner?
I would say not next week, but
Okay.
after that, I can.
Okay. So we're looking at April 28th through the 2nd.
I'm open on the 28th. And the 30th.
Yeah,
How about you?
yes,
Yes, what?
either one of those would be fine.
Okay. Do you want to do 28th or 30th? Because we're all open.
How about if we do the 28th?
28th, okay? We go in 5:30 or we want to go 6? I can do either time.
I can do either time.
Let's do 6.
6. Okay. So Monday, April 28th at 6 PM for the medic budget workday. Okay,
We'll probably have to post that, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Monday, April 28th. 6. Hopefully said it loud enough. Okay. Okay. Any other discussion on that, or we'll table that till
I think
the
we can-
28th?
Yeah,
Okay. Monthly equipment status and safety status. Everybody get a chance to look at the chief's report? And health administrator report.
Our copies of the chief's report and the safety report and the IT report and the maintenance report.
Okay,
um. So Andy, we did get some calls for transfers, but we didn't have anybody willing to come back and take them.
They were either out of town or not able to come in, so I'm getting phone calls from staff and just like, hey, like transfer, you want it? It's BLS, and then I was on the phone with one, no, it turned to ALS, never mind. So we're getting phone calls,
That's good.
I'm reaching out to people, hey, are you around? No, I'm not around, so with the minimal staffing we have, I have to be very careful with that.
Right.
But we're working on that and getting phone calls and maybe some things.
Oh, okay.
So at least our guys are starting to realize that we're getting calls, so they're more available.
Yes.
Okay,
And I told the individual at Pendleton that calls me all the time, keep calling, because eventually we will be able to help you. And the goal there is, sorry, I kind of jumping.
No,
to things, but David and I have talked that 40% of the call goes to the truck so that we get paid considerably amount. If it's one of their individuals that's taking the call, being the patient care person, they get 35% of the call. Basically, that goes to Pendleton. And then the driver, which would be our driver, would get 25%. So we're actually getting 65% of the call. The goal is at the end there, we can get 2 BLS providers and it's a BLS call, then we take 100% of the call. And then we're not giving anything to Pendleton, which is really ideal. But
Sure.
with staffing issues with what they have and with what we have, we're working on things to
Yeah.
make sure we're covering it.
I'm a little confused. 35% to patient care person. So if the hospital calls Pendleton and Pendleton calls us, they get 35 just for making the phone call?
So if it's an ALS call, because we only have three full-time ALS providers.
Okay,
So we have to be very careful with who we have ALS wise. They have extra paramedics. So if we put their paramedic on our ambulance, they're taking a lot of responsibility there, taking care of the
Okay.
patient. That's where that 35%
That
goes to
35.
that.
okay,
And
that
who's
makes sense.
who's keeping track when it does happen, the separation of the billing?
We haven't got quite that far yet.
Yeah.
None of these percentages have been agreed to, but it's gonna be a negotiated process, I'm sure, but we haven't got that far yet.
Shouldn't we be having those conversations though before?
We are, but it hasn't been decided upon.
Okay.
So do we currently have an IGA with Pendleton to do this?
No, not yet, not on this, again, it's in discussions. The only IG we have for Pendleton is for medic evaluations.
Okay.
Okay.
So should we be agreeing on any of this without all of those things laid out or not? I mean, I'm just asking the question. I don't.
This is what we're trying to get across?
Yes, that's what we're
Okay,
negotiating back and forth, and of course, they want to see it be a decent, fair deal on all sides. But we have the vehicle, so that makes it make a big difference.
they don't have extra vehicles?
Well, they're trying to get away from not having to admit all their things.
Okay,
They regularly have 5 out. So
Wow.
5 and even 6.
okay. Okay. Anybody have any other questions on the chief's report or the medic report?
No, I guess that just a request that on the transfers, as you guys are honing that in and doing an IGA or whatever, that we're in the loop as far as that goes.
yes,
I mean-
we'll bring a draft, what we can agree to, and then you bosses will have to say, this is good, or this is not good. We'll go back to the table. If you want that done, we'll certainly do that, but yeah, what we'll bring is a draft proposal.
It just seems a little odd to me that that's not in play. They're already calling us. We haven't been available yet, but what if we were? I mean, we don't have,
If we were, then we could just take as long as it's our people, we just take the transfer.
It's 100%.
right,
It's all us.
but
That's the ideal goal is 100%. As far as if I don't know how we would work that right now as far as if we had to use their medic and then
We don't have
our.
any- Our insurance only, well, we can't.
We
do that.
need to work that out.
We can't do that. We gotta be.
So that's gotta be worked out before we
Yes.
take an
Before we-
ALS.
Before we mix staffs, yes, it really
Okay.
should be. Otherwise, we're putting ourselves at a huge amount of exposure and maybe nothing will happen. But that's not our job. We're
Okay.
supposed to be thinking of the worst and hoping for the best.
So am I correct to understand that we're not gonna take anything unless it's 100% our truck, our people at this moment in time?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not comfortable.
I'm
with
not
Anything else.
comfortable. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
So Rescue 6-1, we found out that there's a starter issue. Bill gave me a receipt. Did we ever get a starter today or is he ordering one?
It's already in.
It's already in, okay. So he said about $100 if he was ordering this one. I think it was probably a little more than.
He got one for 167 at Kilmer's, I think is what it was.
Ambulances, mileages are there. April 7th, not 2026, 2025. Pardon my grammatical error there. Pendleton Fire and ambulance voted to induct everybody into the IAFF of 296 into the union there. If you have any questions, James is here to answer those.
Okay.
Any questions for him?
Not yet.
Again, open positions, we have one BLS position that's not filled, and then the health administrator position. Gym equipment, we found out that, some of our gym equipment is on loan, and we don't wanna have that here, so I do have some quotes here. We actually have extra equipment too that, we're not using, so I had actually talked to the individual and said that he's willing to take that back, give us a credit. There's some equipment that people were requesting, so they will give us a credit, and then we will purchase, they basically wanted dumbbells instead of kettlebells, so we'll get a small amount of dumbbells. For working out, and I have a quote here for the squat rack, which it's a big cage, so you can work out. If you're doing squats, it's a cage that is for safety, so if you fall asleep, it catches you. That is on loan to us from a volunteer. And we just assume get that back to them. They don't have a need for it right now. They expressed that they weren't in any hurry, but if something happens to it, we're responsible for it. So it's better that we get that. If you have any questions on receipts, I have quotes right here.
I was under the impression, and maybe we've gone through this, Dave. We had done a year or so back I think it was 20,000 or maybe 10,000 that we had set aside for equipment. Have we gone through that amount?
I wasn't in charge of supplying that room, so I really can't say. That's something we have to search for
Okay.
and be strategic about.
Okay, because I know we had set aside an amount for equipment. Okay,
I want to say it was 25 and we spent 19. But you know what, I can't say for sure. I'm
Okay.
trying to recollect, but it's been so many months ago and we'll look for that, but I have not very good hopes that we'll find that information. We'll look for it.
okay.
Well, we ought to,
It's gotta be.
it's gotta be in the books.
It's gotta be in the books if we pay for it.
So you're saying there's 25,000 budget, is that what I'm understanding? Just spent 19?
I'm not saying, but I'm
Thinking, I'm sorry, thinking that.
something.
I have to go back and look at old minutes
Okay.
and, yeah, it was before we moved in the station.
Yeah, we were
Correct.
at the other,
Probably last spring, right?
I think it was before that even.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it would have been the fall before, I think.
okay,
So
When
depending
we
on,
were going through the budget for the station.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Were you guys blended yet? IGA?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, oh,
We
yeah.
had an
Yes.
IJ
Oh,
since,
yeah.
what, 2019 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
by the looks of it, we'll still be within that range.
Okay.
Plus, we're getting a credit back for extra equipment that I want to get back to them. They said as long as it's not been opened and used, We
Oh,
can
cool.
get a credit, so
Okay.
I had somebody working on it and then I just kind of I finished up with it, so we're working on that. I'll get a total number so that we know what we're spending. Haven't heard anything from the medic building. Called to see if there's any issues. No news is good news, so that's good.
Any issues? Okay.
Thank you for the gym.
Right now, we're working on license renewal for the service providers and the vehicles, so that's coming up every 2 years. June 30th is when it's up. Grants, I just received an email. I put none, but I just received an email on grants that I'll forward to the person that does grants. I don't know anything about it. I just walked in and opened it and found it.
Do we have a contract grant person or?
Yes.
Cool.
Do they live in Athena?
One of our employees.
Oh, I went to a conference and some guy in Athena did the teaching and he's a grant writer.
Hmm.
I don't know who he was. I didn't really pay
There
attention.
was a class at OSU that one of our employees went to, and it was all, I think he got the certification for whatever that was, and we
Cool.
have high hopes.
Good.
So who's the employee?
The code research.
There's a grant writing company down here on the corner of Smart
Park.
That might be him.
Irvine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was down in Portland.
Park wrote the grant for us that got the AFG tender. The
Okay.
federal government paid 307 for it, and we paid 17.
His big thing in the conference was the grants that he had done for the Gem Theater in Athena. And I'm thinking, oh, who are you? So that's the only reason I know him. Okay.
Thank you, Randy.
EMS week is May 18th to the 25th, so celebrating EMS workers, it's every year. We're looking at getting something small for the individuals working here,
was May what?
May 18th to the 25th.
I'm on grandma goodies that week.
And when you say we're looking at getting something small for them, what does that look like?
So there was a catalog and I had everybody look through it, like what was the majority that they wanted. It looked like a little backpack cooler so that they could have water, juice, whatever they pop, soda pop, they could put it in and just carry it around, keep their drinks cool. One thing I didn't put on there, moving along, is this is a procedure policy change that, and I do apologize for not adding it. You'll see, if you want to pass this one down to Mark. It applies to the EMS and to the fire. So that's why I made 10 copies. It's basically the callback order. We've just revised it because there was really no order of callback. We want to make sure there's kind of a structure there so that if we have any issues, we can say, hey, this is the reason why we do this. It makes more sense why we do this. It's fiscal responsibility. It's looking at keeping as equal and fair. You know, we have reserves. They need to get in there and work too. If we don't utilize them, we can lose them. We don't need that. We need those people willing to come in at the last moment and cover the shifts that we need them. And we've had some that do that very willingly, and we really appreciate them. So, but we also have to maintain an order of it. So, you know,
Okay.
we do what we need to do. So read through it. If you have questions or want to change something, let us know. Dave also has extra stuff that in the fire board meeting that he will address as far as changing the policy. So there'll be other policy and procedures that are going to.
We have adopted a procedure for changing, ending, or adding a policy. So our policy manual has the proper method for doing it.
Consistent.
But the medic board. Does the medic board policy have that? Because this will have to be adopted into the medic policy too.
Our medic policy says that we agree to use theirs.
Okay.
However, I think it's chapter 5 is kind of like our chapter because that's on medical. Is that chapter 5?
Yeah,
Looks
sure,
good.
sure.
I think it's chapter 5.
We're not gonna argue with you.
I'm not.
We had Tiffany, who was our fire assistant chief medical, look through it so that it's not board oriented, it's medical oriented. Okay, anything else? No, okay. Business from the board, Chris,
None.
none. Christie,
None.
Ray,
No,
okay. 7:12,
7-Eleven.
7:11, that one's better. Do I have a motion to adjourn at 7:11?
So moved.
Second.
Everybody says?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Yes. Minutes.
Oh. Nope, we have to open back up.
You can't, you're closed.
Can we make a motion to sign this?
What is it?
I don't know. Last meeting and the special meeting.
Well, we approved last meeting's minutes already.
Yeah, but we need to approve the special board meeting that was the 25th that basically said Dave can be the budget officer. Remember that real quick one? Everybody was on the phone?
Mhm.
Okay, so do I have a motion to accept the special board meeting done on March 25th?
I move we accept it.
Okay, do I have a second?
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Can we close the meeting at 7:11?
Nope, now it's 7:14.
All right, I'll sign